I've joined Brights, an organisation that swaps skills in a barter context, no money involved. Since joining, I've had 3 massages from a woman who advertised that she needed bodies to practice on. So she got mine. The experience was wonderful. Her name is Maria, a beautiful Polish woman. When she finishes, she always asks me what I'm doing afterwards, and I tell her something of what I'm doing. When she says this, I always feel that maybe I have a chance with her. But I'm aware that people say this in Brighton as a means of communication.
What are you doing today?
Is I suppose to get some ideas for themselves. They usually tell you themselves anyway. Over the Easter period, she asked me the same question.
What are you doing today?
Oh, nothing really. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Oh. No, I left.
I've been trying to do some visualising. I used to go to London at least once a week. And on the train back one week, I felt bored. So I tried to imagine a beautiful woman sitting next to me. Nothing happened for a while. And then the train started to fill up with passengers.
Looking out of the window, I saw a really attractive woman sitting on a seat on the platform. She had a sort of fur coat, a very short skirt, very sexy. It's sort of a high-class call girl.
I thought this visualisation wasn't going to work because I saw no beautiful women getting on the train. When all of a sudden, the woman on the platform came and sat opposite me and smiled. She sat down and crossed her beautiful legs. I sort of smiled back, feeling very coy. She started to read a book, leaning forward a bit. I didn't know what to do. She had long black hair and a petite face, but she looked very streetwise. I think she was aware that I was a bit nervous. She actually looked up from reading her book a couple of times and smiled.
I got off the train first and she followed behind, clipping, clopping with the high heels. I realised I'd lost her, so I slowed down to wait for her to catch up. As I neared the exit, I pretended to look at the indicator board and I looked across to the right to see if I could see her. And then I saw her, staring right across the station straight at me. I was a bit startled by it. Ships in the night, strangers on a train, or even a brief encounter.
Weighing up the visualisation experiment and trying to consider whether or not it was successful, I think, well, not really.
A day in London.
I am back in Kempton for the day. I'm in the Royal Free Hospital, where I used to come and write when I lived in London. I've just come for a cup of coffee in the outpatients cafeteria, and it's very quiet.
I'm staying in my friend's flat, free from the strains and stresses of Brighton, while he is staying in my flat in Brighton.
For a break by the sea, free from the stresses and strains of London.
20th of August, this Brighton, this crazy, unreal town, take a well-adjusted person to the edge and does.
I suppose I'm like the 3 characters in The Wizard of Oz. The Scarecrow, the Lion and the Tin Man. The first has no brain, the second no courage, and the third, and probably most crucial, no heart.
Can one purchase these in our consumerist society, or does one have these given as a gift?
24th December. I received 20 Christmas cards and I haven't sent one. This is the 2nd year I've done this. I gave the money to charity that I would have spent on Christmas cards and stamps. I've had terrible Christmases in the past, spent alone, like RC on his island, yet I've had at least a dozen cards. Seems pointless sending any. Or am I not getting into the Christmas spirit? Am I lacking any Christmas spirit? Any spirit of festivity? Oh, humbug!
Possibly, I might be haunted by Scrooge tonight and be whisked back to Christmases past and into future Christmases because of the results of my actions. And I might wake up tomorrow with a different attitude and start enjoying myself and give all my money away to the first Tiny Tim type character I meet. Funnily enough, the money I gave to charity instead of Christmas cards was to the Disabled Children's Charity. So, the gods might relent tonight and give me peace.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and you won't be gone.
Happy New Year! 1997.
I was reading a book by a woman whose name I've forgotten. The book was about her own experience of writing. She went off somewhere in solitude to write for a year. And strange to relate, I believe the book was called Solitude. She wrote, "The burden of mystery must be with him day and night. He must be shaken by the truth that will not be comforted. This divine discontent, this disequilibrium, this state of inattention is the source of artistic energy. Many lesser poets have it only in their youth. Some even of the greatest lose it in middle life. And with it his poetic powers.
But more often, the dynamic tensions are so powerful that they destroy the man before he reaches maturity."
I've decided to split from the woman that I've been physically and emotionally connected to for 6 months. I felt it just wasn't going anywhere. Anyway, she kept making excuses not to see me. But deep down, I'm wondering, why did I finish the relationship?
About a week before I said goodbye, I had this feeling of complete and utter boredom with everything. I felt I had no worries, no problems. I even felt I was very lucky compared to a lot of other people who are homeless, sick, have financial worries, or are in difficult marriages.
So I am wondering, why did I finish with this woman?
I believe subconsciously I finished with her to create a challenge for myself, to make myself more creative, to try and write again, to feel my isolation, my sense of being an outsider.
Was I feeling too safe and need to feel hurt and pain in order to be creative, to be able to express myself? It definitely feels more familiar. Is that familiarity more secure for me, even though it is negative? Am I like millions of people who prefer negativity rather than positive faces?
It seems we are unable to love for too long. Love makes us feel unsafe because it's unfamiliar and dangerous. We can't stand too much of it.
perhaps I'm a boring person. This reminds me of another philosopher who actually wrote about boredom. Kierkegaard, the Norwegian writer and mystic. He wrote,
"The gods were bored, so they created man. Adam was bored, so Eve was created. Adam was bored alone, then Adam and Eve were bored together. Then Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, their offspring, were bored as a family. The population of the earth increased and the people were bored en masse. To divert themselves, they conceived the idea of building a tower high enough to reach the heavens. The idea itself was as boring as the tower was high, and constitutes a terrible proof of how boredom had gained the upper hand."
that's so wonderfully boring.